Ever since Modern Warfare 2 release, we have been begging for movement. They made you slide like a grandpa with frail hips, and everything feels like slow motion. And don't get me started on the water and swimming mechanics that halt the momentum. But with the recent movement changes in Season 5, movement is finally effective again. And this is the ultimate movement guide for Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2. And if you don't think this will be helpful because it's the end of the year and Modern Warfare 3 is about to release soon, understand that most of these changes have been made with Modern Warfare 3 in mind. A lot of this movement's gonna stay the same, but there's a rumor they're also adding slide canceling. And with that release, I'll have an updated movement guide. But for now, master as many of these as you can. I'm gonna break down everything I use to become an iridescent player, one by one, so that you guys know when to use it and how to use it. That being said, my name is Rehtycs. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully you guys enjoy and stick around. We're almost at 30k subs, so thank you guys for that. And let's dive right into it. Oh my god, they landed in it. Oh no!
Wait, is that the guy from Dogecoin?
Okay, let's lock in here and begin with the biggest dividing factor in all of Call of Duty movement history, and that is the slide. If you're new to the scene or you somehow forgot, this is how the slide used to work in Modern Warfare 2019 all the way up through Call of Duty Vanguard. It was fast, and with the right button combo, you could cancel it into an immediate gunfight. This was great for providing peekers advantage and the potential to break someone's camera, and it also did reset tag sprint on Modern Warfare 2019. And if you don't know, what breaking someone's camera means is basically when you slide into an opponent from the right angle, you'll slide right past them and any aim assist, giving you a free kill as the enemy's not going to have time to react to this. Now, in Modern Warfare 2, the slide is slower, shorter, and you're unable to cancel it, which for the entire year until Season 5, made the slide basically unusable. But with the Season 5 release, the slide was sped up by a decent amount as you can see on screen, and the delay to bringing your gun up is much less, meaning you can officially slide into a gunfight and actually have a chance to win. But that doesn't mean you can slide into everything like you would in Modern Warfare 2019. But in my opinion, it does actually add skill to the slide. If you become a player who masters this, no one will see it coming, at least until Modern Warfare 3 when everyone's likely sliding around once slide canceling returns. But the best time to slide currently is if you want to chow an enemy that is close to you, usually around a corner or behind some cover. You're going to want to get a running start and slide as you turn the corner. They will aim at your chest or your head, and while you slide right under that, you will break their aim assist to an extent, and it'll give you the chance to catch someone off guard who may be holding a lane. The reason using a corner for your slides is important, and this also works with doorways. I like to close them before I slide into them. It adds an element of surprise and unpredictability for the enemy to stress over. But the reason doors and corners work best for this is because the slide combines with peeker's advantage to give you the ultimate upper hand. If you aren't familiar with peeker's advantage, I made an entire video on it and you can tune into it, but basically it means exactly what it says. You get an advantage for peeking. If you jump or slide around a corner that an enemy is aiming at, you will see them a few milliseconds before they see you, and it gives you a chance to get the first shot or to make a quick move. So think about it from your enemy's point of view now. You're aiming at a doorway, an enemy comes up and closes it, and before you can even think of where that enemy went, he slams through the door, and as you go to aim at this player, you see nothing but a helmet and a barrel sliding straight towards you. And then you respawn. It's such a dominant play, but you have to know where the enemy is and line up your slide with it. If you slide into an open area with no cover, you're gonna die 9 out of 10 times. If you use your slide in a busy hallway, you're dead for sure. But if you slide around a corner into an enemy who is camping, you can easily hip fire them if you get close enough, making it even quicker for you, and that enemy will rarely get the kill on you. You can also use slides to get behind cover, but this isn't like before where I explained the slide used to be usable if you timed it perfectly. Now you actually have room for error, so if you don't perfectly slide at the right time, you're not going to be stuck in mud and you're not going to get completely fried. You can actually still get out of bad spots. It is vastly improved and it is a true skill gap, and if you're stuck in bronze through platinum tiers, this could be the move you learn that breaks those hills and carries your teammates to the next rank. Now, should you use the slide to get into cover though, or escape enemy shots? Usually not. If you're being shot at, you should not be trying to slide away. You can, and it might help sometimes, but it's nowhere near as good or effective as the dive, which is what we're going to discuss next. I use the slide personally to be aggressive when turning close corners, and I use it to go down staircases due to the small speed boost, and also because my OCD makes me do it. It's just too satisfying not to. Now let's talk about the dive, and the dive has been useful for the entire year, and you should have changed your settings early on in the year to make diving easier and sliding a bit harder, but I'll show you all of my updated settings at the end of this video so that you have all the correct settings for your proper movement. But to explain why diving is so useful, you just have to tune into the World Series of Warzone games that were streamed on Twitch. Some of the endgame circles had 20 to 30 people in them at once in that tiny little zone, and every player was using the dive maneuver to survive.
This is gonna be a big fight here between Huskers and Mutex.
This is a must win. If you want to go to London, you must win this gunfight, and they're backing up. They grabbed one knock. No, they're getting shot from behind. They're in trouble. A little bit of cover. The Dolphin Ducks, somehow they're not going down. Huskers still up. Mutex goes down. It's all up to Huskers.
If you change your settings to prioritizing dive over sliding, you can dive into cover in a split second, leading to enemies missing shots on you because not only are you a moving target, you also go from vertical to horizontal, and your movement speed is insanely fast. And this has been the movement all year until Season 5 made sliding useful again. It isn't flashy, it isn't super fun, but it's something that I've used at least 10 to 20 times per game in Warzone and multiplayer, and it has proven to be effective. You can also turn 180 degrees while diving to cover more ground when escaping from an enemy. You will quickly launch a few feet and essentially drop shot your opponent, and if they're chasing you, you'll likely get an easy kill. Another popular and commonly attempted movement mechanic surrounding the dive is dive hopping. This is essentially just diving onto a ledge at just the right angle, which causes your character to basically cancel the dive animation and bring out your gun and return to a straight posture. It can be very useful when breaking hills or running from enemies. I personally use this all the time, and the easiest way to learn it is to just imagine that you're gonna dive over the ledge and just dive about one step early, causing your character's legs to land on the ledge when diving, and this is what triggers the glitch animation. It takes some practice and anticipation, but I do it every game with no mistake. So it's very easily possible that you can add this to your bag of tricks. Just as long as you dive onto a ledge that has nothing over it. You can do this on window seals and things like that as well. And it's something a lot of people don't utilize enough. Now, to utilize the main dive, you need to be aware of your surroundings and how many things you can dive behind. Then, if you're getting shot at, or if you kill an enemy and you want to reposition, you can simply move your analog to sprint in a direction and then tap your dive button. This will quickly launch you behind cover and give you a chance to heal, relocate, and re-chow. Comboing this with repositioning to different spots all around the map is a real headache for the opponent as they try to stay aware of your location, but you keep diving behind cover. This can also cause them to shoot at you and miss, revealing their position, while simultaneously distracting them, giving your teammates an opportunity to bait your dive for info and for kills. As for the dive hop, it can be used to both aggressively challenge an enemy and also quickly get away from one. If you're getting chased by an enemy and you execute a dive hop, you'll be much quicker to your escape and more confusing to the enemy. It seems like a gimmicky mechanic, but it is very effective, especially in the earlier ranks. The difference between running behind a box and diving behind a box also is big enough for you to die twice, meaning an enemy could kill you 2 times before you run behind a box, but if you dive, those headshots and chest shots are harder to hit, meaning less multiplier, meaning longer time to kill, and the ground you cover is also much quicker, making you a harder target to hit, and the odds of someone killing you are literally almost zero. I don't think I can recall a time I've ever died mid-dive, and I've been playing against top 250 and iridescent players for the entire year almost. Also, if you're wondering whether you should dive into Challs, here's your answer. The delay in firing after the dive just makes it impractical, and I don't recommend you use this for fights. Before sliding was fixed, I considered it semi-viable, but now if you want to dive into a fight, you're much better off sliding. Okay, now I've talked about the slide buff from Season 5 enough, and the likely return of slide canceling is a massive change in Call of Duty. But another change in Season 5 was made to strafe jumping, so you can no longer bunny hop in Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2's release, and there's still no confirmation that that will be returning yet. However, you can still strafe jump into Challs. And by the way, when I say Chall, it basically means fighting an angle that is likely to have an enemy present. You're putting yourself into a situation where you expect a gunfight. So the most effective movement in Modern Warfare 2 is 100%, without a doubt or argument, the strafe jump into a Chall. So for starters, let's learn how to strafe. Move left and move right. And that's it, just moving back and forth, left or right, that's strafing. So this is huge for gunfight techniques because it makes it harder for the opponent to track you, and it makes it easier for you to kill them due to the aim assist buff that I discussed a few months back, and you can go check that video out as well. Now, how do we strafe jump? Well, it's easy. See, you just look away from where you're going to be jumping. Meaning, if you're running straight and then you look left or right when you jump, you gain much more air and speed than you do if you just jump sideways. This is something that they recently buffed even more in Season 5, but it was already incredibly effective. So the way I do it effectively is when I want to Chall around a corner that an enemy may be, and actually I do this for almost every corner whether I expect an enemy there or not because, well, just in case, but I make it easy on myself. I line myself up with a wall or whatever is near me, and I run straight along it with my shoulder up against the wall, and I jump as if I'm trying to jump across the doorway or the lane. As soon as my feet leave the ground, I turn to my desired angle and I aim, which leads to the perfect strafe jump. It could take a few tries to get used to, but it is a very easy movement tech for you to master, and it's almost strictly muscle memory. Obviously, you do need to be smart enough to actually implement this into the correct scenarios and situations, and your aim also needs to be at least decent. But again, if you remember, I had mentioned Peeker's advantage. That's the exploit that allows you to see the enemy before they see you, and this takes full advantage of that as well. And that's why almost every clip of mine you'll ever see includes me strafe jumping into these Challs. I've done this since launch day and well before Season 5's buff to it, as jumping corners has always been the meta this year, but now that it's been buffed, I have been dominating lobbies with this. After having taken basically an entire month off of Call of Duty, I've come back, and a lot of people haven't even realized that this change was made because, well, they don't really pay a ton of attention to the patch notes unless it has something to do with sliding. So that's why not a ton of people are actually utilizing this, and I think it's criminally underrated because it is so good. Now, there's a difference between jumping a corner and challing and strafe jumping the corner. If you just jump sideways around a corner, that's still effective, but if you throw the strafe in there, you gain even more air, you move quicker, it's all a lot better. So let's take a quick break from learning these mechanics to understand comboing them. You can slide into a camper, breaking their camera and killing them, and then dive into cover, and then strafe jump Chall someone who's chasing you for the trade. This is where becoming a movement user can make you a dominant player. You may have the best aim, but that will only get you so far. After the platinum rank, you'll need some movement like this in your arsenal, but if you master all of this, you'll hit crimson or iridescent without a doubt. Now let's get into the last couple. The next mechanic we're going to discuss is snaking, and I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, snaking is not actually movement, it's more so just being stationary and glitching out the game, and I'd say you're exactly right, but when you combo it with the other options in here, I consider it movement, because if you're sliding away from someone and you dive into cover and you're one shot and then you get up and you start snaking the cover and you kill the enemy, I'd say that that counts as movement. You can argue about that in the comments though. I'm still going to briefly teach you guys how to do it. I do have a full 10+ minute long video about snaking, but here's the quick rundown on how to do it and what it does. So first things first, what does snaking do? Snaking completely breaks Call of Duty. Basically the way that the camera is set up on your characters and the way their servers work and the tick rate and all that fun stuff that I'm not smart enough to understand, all of that combined. And it pretty much says that when you lay down and then quickly sprint out of that and you're behind cover, you're going to be able to shoot the enemy before they see you, and you'll be able to lay back down before they can react, which means if you just keep running, then going prone, and then running, and then going prone, the enemy will have virtually a 0% chance at killing you because they would have to pre-fire exactly where you are. Now, to do this, when I say sprinting, the way I do it is I have auto attack sprint on, so I will lay down, go prone, and then I will click my sprint button, and it will make my players stand up immediately. I'll walk forward maybe half a step, and then I'll go back down. So then I'll start to throw in some shots in there, and I'll start shooting the opponent. Sometimes if you just snake 2 or 3 times, the opponent will get antsy and they'll start to run towards you, and you can just stand up and completely delete them. It's a very cheesy mechanic. I hope they fix it. It's been an issue in the Call of Duty League for a long time, but it's led to championships, it's led to people getting iridescent, it's led to people getting crimson. If you're stuck in silver, make sure you add this to your bag. Not only is it overpowered as its own mechanic, but like I said, when you factor in the other options you have at your disposal, like the slide, like the dive, like the jump Challs, like the drop shot that we're going to go over right after this, snaking becomes even more overpowered, and it's not likely that this will ever be fixed in Call of Duty, at least not anytime soon, so this is something you absolutely need to learn for Modern Warfare 3 if you want any chance of being competitive in that game. And there will be people complaining in the comments and complaining at you during lobbies if you're snaking them, but they're either going to get over it or they're going to get to snaking. It's one or the other. But if you want to be a great player, this is one of the easiest and most effective things you can add.
Good luck with
Look
this
at
one.
Cell.
God,
This is so cheese, bro.
Part 4.
The snakes are in chat. Wait, Nick, watch this one.
One already. It might. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Some damage in, not able to take it yet. Cell able to win
like
it.
it.
Snakes are in.
Next up is the most commonly used, oldest trick in the book, and it's still very, very effective, and it's also the easiest one to explain, and that's the drop shot. Now, most of you guys know what that is. It's basically just laying down while you shoot, not laying down before you shoot, not shooting and then stopping and laying down. All one motion, you start shooting and you lay down as you do it. This makes you obviously a harder target to hit, but it's also something that can mess with the opponent's mind a little bit. If they keep getting drop shotted, they're going to start aiming a little bit lower, then you can start jump shotting, or as long as you're just switching it up throughout the game, it should catch them off guard. Now, while aim assist has gotten a lot stronger over the years, so now drop shotting sometimes can lead to you getting headshotted pretty quickly. If you know when to use it, it can be very effective still. Now, for me personally, as you will see some of it on the screen here, I don't do a ton of drop shotting right now, but like I said, I like to add it in as sort of a combo, and that's just what I'm calling it in this video. You know, comboing the movement things together. It's the easiest way I could explain it, so I'm not trying to say this is all hard stuff to do and it's like a combo in a fighting game, but if you treat it like that, it actually makes it a lot easier to become a really good movement player. Drop shotting, just think of this as something to have in the back pocket in case you need it. I only use it in really aggressive chows where I just know I'm at a disadvantage right away. If I turn a corner and I see someone and I wasn't expecting them there, I'm gonna drop shot before I jump shot most likely. The reason for that is because it's just harder for them to react to a drop shot. They're gonna be expecting the jump shot. The only way they can really kill me if I drop shot is if their crosshair or iron sight sticks to my head while I lay down. If they miss those headshots, I'm going to get that kill because their aim assist is gonna be gone. Now, bronze, silver, gold, those kinds of players usually do struggle to keep up with drop shots. Now, maybe you're in one of those ranks and you can keep up with them, and that's great. I'm just saying in general, if you're in silver or bronze and you're drop shotting people in those lobbies, you're probably going to rank up pretty quick and at least get to platinum. Drop shotting is also insanely effective in Modern Warfare 2 specifically if you do it as you're turning a corner. So basically kind of think about it as you're jumping around a corner, but instead of jumping, once you turn that corner, you just go completely prone. This can really catch enemies off guard, as a lot of times they'll be aiming higher and they won't even see you crawl around the corner because their gun will be covering you up. So that's another way you can add in the drop shot. So if you know someone's around a corner and you just want to turn it, go prone and drop shot them, you will most likely get that kill, unless for some reason the enemy saw that coming, which I've never seen that happen. I mean, the world champions of the Call of Duty League, the New York Subliners, they do it more than any team I've ever seen. Hydra and Kismet specifically do it all the time. I always see them turn corners with drop shots. So doing this is as simple as just going prone while you shoot and pulling your aim up on the right stick, or obviously if you're on the mouse, just flick your arm up a little bit. As far as tips on how to do it more effectively, I wouldn't say go into any fight expecting to drop shot, because again, the RNG when it comes to headshots with that is just too risky. I only drop shot if it's kind of a split-second reaction. Like I said, if I don't expect someone somewhere, that's usually my go-to type of fight. I drop to the floor and I hope that they're not expecting it. But you can change your button layout to tactical if you don't have it there already, so that you can go prone using your right stick. That's what I played on my entire life up until just last year when I got a controller that has 4 paddles on the back, so now I slide using the default, which is the circle button on one of my paddles. So if you have paddles on your controller, you can definitely play default. I find it easier to aim while drop shotting if you're playing on default, but if you don't have paddles on the back of your controller, you're gonna have to either play claw or play tactical, which I'll discuss that more at the settings portion of the video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so now we're at the portion of the video where I have to go live commentary to kind of explain how these mechanics are going to work, because the other ones are a lot better explained over some footage, while these ones, if I tried to talk through them, they really wouldn't make too much sense in past time. So let's do it in real time. So the first one is something I recently made a video on. It's called the water hop. I call it the Shotzi water hop because he's the person who kind of made it popular, or made it familiar among all of us, and it's very useful on Vondel in specific because of all the waterways. So for example, if someone, you hop in the water and you see someone's under there with a pistol and they start chasing you, because those rats, they hang out under the bridge with dual fully auto pistols. They see you, they start chasing you, got to get out of here. This right here is going to get you killed. Climbing up that, even though it's faster than it used to be, it's still going to get you killed. So what you have to do, that right there. So let's show you how to do it, right? It's very simple. That's why this segment is going to be a couple quick hitters that are useful with movement, as well as just with being a good player on the map that can help kind of go with movement. So what you do with this one is you don't want to touch this at all. If you're hopping into something or on top of something out of water, you don't want to touch it. You want to look up right before you get to it, maybe 2 to 3 meters. You want to look up and you just want to jump, and you'll just land right on it. You kind of float. And that's how it works. So you could even do it with these right here, I believe. It depends on how high up the ledge is, but yeah, as you can see, it even worked there. So that's pretty much that simple, right? You don't have to sit there and climb for 10 minutes and get fried, shot in the back. You get to actually just kind of hop up there. Seriously, guy? Come on, brother. I'm a busy man right now. So it'd be great if you came and chowed me, because the other thing I want to show you guys is the stair glitch. The stair glitch is something that a lot of people heard about, and a lot of people don't know how to do it. It's very simple, but it's not as simple as this. You don't go to the top of a staircase and lay on it and then aim, right? This isn't going to do anything. So what the stair glitch is it's basically a camera break in a sense, because if you lay about right here, right in between the top step and the second step, you're about right here. Anyone over there in that general area, they're not going to be able to see you at all besides the top of your head. You're going to be shooting at them. They're not going to be able to counter it. I'll try and get some footage on the screen here. I always do it to people. It's rarely done to me. It's been done to me before, but it's very rare. As long as I know I'll be able to see the top of their chest or neck and head, I'll be able to kill them. So that's where I try to stay. I don't need to be all the way up here where I can see their whole body, because then that exposes more of me. If I go right here, they can't see me. I can still see a part of them. And that doesn't mean I have to kill them when they run by. If they don't see me and I see them, I can wait till they go by and then I can stand up and kill them. I'll see if I can show you a few of the quick other things in motion rather than just talking about them, but actually doing them in a fight. Bear with me because I have the audio turned down, but what I want to show you guys is shouldering and jiggle peeking, which are pretty much the same thing. This is shouldering. This is jiggle peeking. It's the same thing. I just consider shouldering to be a little bit less. If I'm jiggle peeking, I might actually try and get shots off. But if I'm shouldering, I'm just trying to get them to shoot at me, get some info on them. So let's fry that guy and see where his teammates are who were just here, so I can show you guys how it works. Okay, so they're right across, so this should be perfect. It's kind of like a different version of snaking. Just a little bit more practical, and it's not a glitch. It's really just how the game works. But what we do jiggle peeking and shouldering for is for info. So like I said, shouldering, you kind of just want to show a little bit of your body so they can maybe get one shot onto your shoulder, and then you know exactly where they are, and then you can kind of go from there. It's mainly just to get info. Oh my god, I just received a ton of info in the form of a sniper rifle. Perfect example here. Let's jiggle peek it. I see nothing. Okay, got him. Throwing a little snaking. I snake even without cover. I know the best time to snake is when you have cover. I do it without it because it still makes it, you know, you're a harder target to hit. Here's another one. This is Warzone strictly. You want to have your dive, which I'll show you the settings in a second. But you want to have your dive set to your priority, and then you want to dive anytime you're jumping off of like a rooftop or something, and it'll give you the opportunity to pull your chute and gain a ton of ground, a ton of air, a ton of actually speed too. You go a lot faster than you would. Let's try and grief these guys a little bit. You can actually go from rooftop to rooftop in Vondel and make a ton of noise. This is how people drop so many kills on this map. Another thing that's useful for Warzone, especially on Vondel, is you want to grab the ledge. Oh, I fell. No, that was going to be such a perfect clip too. You want to grab the ledges instead of actually landing, because it's quicker to do that than it is to pull out your secondary or your sniper or whatever gun you have out. There's not a single game that goes by, oh god, where I don't use some sort of this stuff. And as you can see, you can even do things like that. You can, ooh, we end up getting someone's guns. You can, you know, fly off a bad spot, swing around the building and land on a windowsill and climb on in. I mean, things like that that are just so big. Those are what are considered movement in this game. This is not a game like Apex Legends where you have movement characters, or Valorant. This is Call of Duty, right? And we don't have a ton of movement. What we had was side canceling. We called it movement. Now we have all these different things categorized into one. So now let's go ahead and talk about the settings. All right, here are the settings. We're going to start with the controller settings. Now you can stay and listen to my explanation for everything, or you can just skip through the settings and copy them down if you'd like. Controller, obviously, my button layout, like I said, it is default now. However, you can run tactical. If you don't have a controller that has paddles and you want to drop shot, you're going to need to run tactical. You're going to be then drop shotting using your right stick, and your circle button will be used to melee. Stick layout preset default. Vibration off. I understand some people like to have this on, it makes it more fun, but having it on adds a variable when it comes to controlling your recoil. Your controller's bouncing around while you're trying to keep your gun straight. It's not great to have your controller matching your gun. My stick sensitivities have been 8-8 ever since pretty much at the start of Warzone. I did switch to 9-9 a few times, 10-10. I tried going through all of them. I used to play on 20-20. I didn't become like a really good consistent player until I switched to 8-8s. I also have my sensitivity multiplier set to 0.8. 0.8 is what I use. These are all set to standard. Hold, automatic sprint on. That's going to be super useful for snaking. If you are going to try to start snaking now, make sure that you use automatic tag sprint. It does take some getting used to, but trust me, it's worth it. It'll save your thumbs and your controller as well. Equipment behavior, hold. So prioritize interact means I tap to reload and interact. Now I tap to interact, but I hold to reload when they're both available. So I can close a door in the middle of a gunfight, even if there's loot all around the ground. I don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to start reloading. I'm not going to pick up guns. I'm just going to tap to close the door, and then I'm going to hold square or hold X to reload my gun. So that's why I like it. I also like apply 1 on the plates because I don't like having to cancel the plating animation for apply all. I think it's a lot better to have apply 1 and to just hold it. Advanced, so here we go. Target aim assist on, of course. Black Ops on. Dynamic aim response curve type, of course. ADS sensitivity multiplier 0.9. ADS sensitivity transition timing, definitely have that on instant. Custom sensitivity presume, I have them all on 0.8. So I could just turn this off and use the main one that has them all set to 0.8, but I like to have this here just in case in game maybe I'm not feeling snappy. Maybe I want to up my sniper rifle sensitivity or lower it. You know, I can do so. My dead zones are here. These are going to depend on your controller. I also have videos that discuss how you can figure out your dead zones. That playlist is in the description for all of my kind of movement tutorial types of videos. Controller rotation up, that's obviously up to you there. Gyro behavior, turn it off. Do not keep that on. It is not good for your controller. It's not good for your game. This is only a PC setting, by the way. I know a lot of people ask, where is it on Xbox? Where is it on PlayStation? Just on PC, I believe. So there's those settings. And yeah, there we go. I think that's about it. Plunging underwater, I set to movement. Here it is, the invert slide and dive behavior. Couldn't remember exactly what it was called, but there it is. Make sure you have it on inverted. That way your diving is your priority and your sliding is what you have to hold your button to do. Sprinting door bash on. Parachute auto deploy, turn that off so you're in full control of your gameplay and your character. Ledge hanging mantle behavior. Both of them suck. Don't worry about that very much. ADS stick swap off. Backpack alter control on. Weapon mount movement exit. You know, stuff like this doesn't really make a big difference. Let me just scroll through here so you can copy them down. And my audio settings here, because I know some people are probably going to ask, so here they are. I run PC. I run master volume at 70. I feel like it balances out the audio well enough to where nothing is ever missed over, like, you know, it being too loud or something like that. Voice chat, I actually usually have it off when I'm playing Warzone, but I have it on when I'm playing MW2 Ranked. So that's kind of the way I would recommend doing it, unless you have a lot of fun with the proximity chat. But when you turn it off, you do seem to gain some frames on PC. Other than that, scrolling through it, I think we're good. Reduced tinnitus sound, that's a good one to turn on. Make sure you turn that on. Other than that, looks like we got it all down, huh? So that will do it for today's movement guide. Now, hopefully in Modern Warfare 3, there will be a much longer guide with much better movement options, but this is what we have for now. And honestly, if this is how the game released on day 1, it actually would be a pretty solid game. But with how long it took us to get this movement back, most people aren't in love with it. Now, I know some of you guys love this type of game where it's really slow, but most of us Call of Duty players really like a fast-paced game. I'm going to leave you guys with a few clips I got the other night. Mind you, I am still very rusty, but I do want you guys to get an idea of how I utilize these movement mechanics, so I'm just going to put a few unedited clips that I have saved in here. Just some kill streaks or something like that. Just whatever I find, I'm going to throw them in here and let you guys take a look. But let me know what I forgot to cover down below, because I'm sure there's at least one thing that slipped my mind. With how long it took to edit this video, I really kind of just, I don't know, I think my brain is blank right now. But with that being said, I won't keep you guys here much longer. Thank you guys for watching. I've been Rehtycs. If you made it this far in the video and you want a shout out in the next video, click the share button down below, click on the copy link option, and then comment down below saying that you shared the video, and I'll shout you out on the next video. It really helps the channel, and you don't actually have to send it to anyone. As long as you click copy link, YouTube will register it as a share, and it'll help get my video seen by more people. Also, send this to anyone you think might need some help with their movement, and let me know what I can do better as well as far as my videos goes. Thank you guys very much, and I'll see you guys soon. I've been Rehtycs, and I'm signing out.
He's right here, but he's just running.
relocating. Stand by.
Yeah, okay. Good.
Relocating. Stand by.
And you know that it's all that I need, so don't leave me alone.